Good day everyone, I am Karen Castañeda from BSIT through ABPO. I will be discussing the procedure or steps how the data being cleaned. Step 1. Remove duplicate rows. In these steps, all the duplicated data was removed. From 12,000 to 232 datasets, there are now 149 left when the entire duplicated row has been removed using the remove duplicate function. Step 2. Change lowercase into upper letter. In these steps, all the data that had lowercase on the first letter was changed into uppercase letters using the proper function to make it all consistent. For example, covering mouth and nose, encoded as covering mouth and nose. Step 3. Eliminating unimportant data in a column. In this step, the important data from column N and O is eliminated. Step 4. Combining columns of symptoms into one column. In this step, all the duplicated data was removed and the columns of symptoms 1, 2, and 3, and 4 are combined into one column of symptoms. All the symptoms have been reviewed first before being combined, and all the symptoms of certain diagnosed illnesses will differ from each other.
Step 5. Combining the columns of prescribed medicines into one column. All the data is reviewed first in each column of the prescribed medicines 1, 2, and 3 before combining them into one column, and all the duplicated data is removed first before combining them into one column. Step 6. Combining the columns of treatments and control into one column. All the data is reviewed first in each column of the treatment and control 1 and 2 before combining them into one column, and all the duplicated data is removed first before combining them into one column. Step 7. Removing extra spaces using MS Excel stream function. All the extra spaces in all the data were removed in this step. The method is applied to all at the data cell as well. And the last is step 8, removing the raw data. This is the output of the raw data being cleaned. Data loaded in the RapidMiner Studio with brief discussion on what is shown.
This picture shows the data loaded in the RapidMiner Studio with brief discussion on what is shown. This process loads the illness dataset from repository. The repository entry parameter is provided as an absolute path. Thus, the type of illness data set as returned from repository and the subfolder data.
Statistics is the discipline that concerns the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. In applying statistics to a scientific, industrial, or social problem, it is conventional to begin with a statistical population or a statistical model to be studied.
This is the decision tree of the Clean Data 2015 case, where the types of illness is subdivided into two. The communicable disease has acute upper respiratory infection that has symptoms of cough, cold, and fever, and the other one who have conjunctivitis has the symptoms of redness of eyes and fever. When you feel the flu, You may treat and control it by taking a bed rest and drinking plenty of fluid, and if you have tuberculosis, you most likely to experience coach for long duration and diseases. The non-communicable diseases, it more likely to have the symptoms of diseases. The non-communicable disease is more likely to have the symptoms of diseases, neck pain, and high BP.
So in this chart, this is a convention of the non-numerical data to numerical data with an explanation. So this is the result of converting non-numerical data to binary equivalents by hand. We use MS Excel's find and replace tool to convert non-numerical input into the allowed binary value. All duplicate or similar data is assigned the same binary equivalent, and all different data is assigned its unique binary equivalent. As you can see, we use two methods, integers encoding and one-hot encoding. So we use one-hot encoding where the types of illness is subdivided into two, the communicable and non-communicable. For example, incommunicable disease, we have cough, colds, and fever. Let's just assume that cough is value of 1, while cold value is 2. Last colds is value of 3. As you can see, there's no ordinal relationship between this value because you cannot tell that the cough is greater than colds. There is no such relationship between the value. Therefore, these all are non-ordinal relations. As you can see that we have three values in one hot encoding. The number of columns will be equivalent into our values. So for each values, there will be a columns, and the number of rows will be equal into number of data rows. You know then that cough is present, the colds and fever are absent, so we can put in cough for 1 and the rest is 0. Similarly, when the colds are present, so we can put 1 and the rest is absent, so that is 0. And when that fever is present, we can put 1 and the rest is absent, so we can put 0. So this is the method we use. To this method is remove ordinal relationship. So I'd like to thank you for your time and effort today. Thank you so much for your interest and attention. At this time, I'd like to have my colleague speak. So I'll finish up by saying thank you for your watching. Hope you listen carefully and I hope you learn something. God bless you all.